Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you are well. I hope you are having a great week. It's been a while since I've done a real solo episode. Of course, I do the Microcast Mondays, but I don't have a guest this week. So I'm going to do a solo episode. And before I get started, I want to thank you, the first responder, the criminal justice professional, wherever you were at, whatever you were doing. Thank you for doing it. And remember this. You are honored, cherished, and above all, you are loved. Keep up the great work. You know, folks, I was recently in Tallahassee, Florida at a conference hosted by Second Alarm Project. Big kudos to you, Second Alarm Project. And I was able to speak to a lot of first responders. And I was doing a speaking engagement. And when I was done, I was coming off the area where I was speaking, and people started coming up to me, talking to me, and a young officer came up, and he was emotional, and I could tell he was upset, and he said, thank you for speaking. Your message really hit home, and I can tell you that in my agency alone, this is coming from the young man, there's a lot of people suffering. And the point of all this is there are a lot of you suffering out there, first responders. Now, in this conference, there were fire, Leo, paramedics, the whole gambit. So I was able to get this gentleman some information, and hopefully he seeks some help. Hopefully he reaches out to me in the future so I can get him some help he needs. So, but getting back to what I was talking about before, there's a lot of first responders out there suffering. About 40% we know about that are suffering from mental health challenges, addiction, in most cases, both. And that's the number we know about. So that number is probably very, very higher. And if you are suffering, and if you need help, put your ego and fear aside. Those are the biggest roadblocks for me. Maybe they're roadblocks for you. I know you're afraid. You're worried about, stepping forward, what other people will think. You got to do this for you. Plain and simple. In order for you to serve better in your communities, for your families, your spouse, your partner, whatever, you've got to get better. So if you're suffering, please reach out to me today. All calls are confidential. There's going to be some resource information in the show notes, how to get in touch with me, as well as check out FHE Health and the Shadowproof program. So you've waited long enough. So now it's time to step forward and get the help you need. As we step into this day, I know a lot of you, like me, we're stressed out about a myriad of different things. Stressed out about, the job, stressed out about maybe finances, relationships, all these big, huge obstacles, work, projects you got to work on. And it can be daunting. It can be overwhelming, because when I get that way, and I do, I'm thinking about, I got to do this, and I got to take care of this. I got to pay that bill. I got to pay that bill. I got to pay that bill. And everything kind of, starts closing in. I don't know if you ever had that feeling. I'm sure some of you have. Maybe a lot of you have. Maybe all of you have. I think we all have that feeling at one point or another. But things start closing in, man. Shit gets real, and you're like, oh my God, I can't take this. I'm overwhelmed. My suggestion to you, and maybe you've tried this, if you haven't, I suggest you do, is to just focus on one of those issues or challenges or problems you're dealing with, and focus on that one particular issue. It doesn't mean all the other things go away. It just means now you can focus on that one problem. And when you solve that problem, if you solve that issue, then you can move on to the next one. You see where I'm getting at? By sitting worrying about everything that is going around, and all the 10 things, for instance, you have going on that you need to take care of, like right now, like yesterday, instead of worrying about them all at once, that can be, like I said, very daunting. You can get like analysis paralysis, where you're like, oh shit, where do I start? And trust me, I know this feeling. And what I do is I say, all right, I'm going to focus on this particular thing first. Those things are over, they're still there on the back burner, but this one has moved up to the front, and that is one where I have to take care of immediately. Now, again, like I said, it doesn't mean your problems disappear. You still have them, but you see where I'm going again with this is, what's the best way to eat an elephant? one bite at a time. One bite at a time. Maybe that's a kind of a weird analogy, but I've heard that many times in my life. Try it. Once you handle one problem, then you move on to the next. Because racking yourself with trying to handle all these problems that are coming at you, and they never stop, folks. They never, ever, ever stop. You are always going to be challenged. You are always going to be pushed to your limits. That is life. Nobody ever said life was going to be easy. You've heard that many times probably. And it's not. It is hard. But you got to try to stay ahead of things. You got to try to stay ahead of things. So that's what I would do when faced with a bunch of different challenges you have. And like I said in the opening, if you are not right up here, if things aren't going well for you, and many of us have those challenges, but it's starting to affect your mental health, where you're getting depressed, you don't want to talk to people, you're isolating, things like that. Folks, you need to get some help, man. You need to, at the very least, talk to somebody, and that's getting help. You cannot do this alone. You can't. Yeah, a lot of things we do are intrinsic, the things we think. But life, I view life as like both an individual sport with a team component. So individual means we're born here, alone. We have our family, but we die alone. We have our family around us, hopefully. But most of what we do in life is intrinsic. It's our thoughts. It's our actions. It's those things. Yes, we need people in our life to help us along the way, to love us, to care for us, to nurture us, our friends, our family, our coworkers, whatever. But ultimately, it comes down to you. And I've said this many times, people are not going to come in and save you. I know that sounds mean, maybe to some of you, but that's the reality of it. They can help you. They can nurture you. They can love you. They can support you, all those great things. And I hope you have that in your life. But ultimately, it comes down to you. You're the only one that can save yourself. And that comes with anything in your life. That applies to anything in your life. Definitely it applies to like treatment and getting help with addiction or mental health issues. It's like Morpheus telling Neo in The Matrix. If you've never seen the movie, you got to check it out, Matrix. There's a scene where Morpheus says, Neo, I can show you the door, but you got to walk through it. The same goes with problem solving and all the things you're dealing with right now. Probably a lot. You got to walk through that door and take care of one problem first and then on to the next one, or they're just going to pile on, man. And then it's going to be even more daunting. But you can do it, man. You can do it. It baffles me when I talk to first responders, and a lot of them are so beaten down and so demoralized. And I get it. I've been there. You're a first responder, man. You run in when 99% of the population is running away. This is what you can do. This is what you're trained to do. Trained to go into fear, go into adversity and tackle it. And if you get knocked down, you get back up. That's life, man. And again, nothing's going to get handed to you. Nothing is ever going to get handed to you. So as you go throughout your day, I want you to have a good day. Try to have a good day. If you're not having a good day, reach out to people. Pick up the phone or send a text or an email, preferably a call so you can hear somebody's voice. Preferably, even better than that, you can meet with somebody, have some coffee, whatever. Just be around people, and quit talking shop. All right, you're a cop, I know. Or you're a first responder, fire, I get it. Detach from the job a little bit every once in a while. That's gonna help you a lot too. Again, I'm not slamming first responders. I love first responders. I was a first responder. But talk about other things besides just shop talk, war stories. Talk about other things, your hobbies. What are you going to do with your life, with your buddies? Ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you know all that stuff, great. If you don't, dig. That kind of redirects the conversation so you can have something else more to talk about than just, cop talk or fire talk or whatever. And those are good too, and they have their places, but not all the time. It's not good for you. So as you go out into your day, I hope you have a fantastic day. Remember, every day is a new beginning. All right? Every day is a new beginning to change course, to course correct. And that's part of life too, man. Whenever you're getting all jacked up and messed up, you can course correct. That's what life's about. So have a great day. Please take care of yourselves. Know that you are honored, cherished, and loved. Like I said, I sincerely hope you believe that, because that's coming from my heart. And please reach out to me if you want to. You can find all my links on CJEvolution.com. If you like the show, if you like CJEvolution Podcast, why don't you head over to YouTube and hit the like button so you can get all my YouTube episodes for free, obviously. You don't have to pay anything. So, folks, have a great day. Remember, I love each and every one of you. Keep doing a fantastic job. Be safe. Come home to your families. And I will see you next time on the CJEvolution Podcast.